Need some headphones, headphones, headphones. Need some headphones. Need some headphones. And, okay, let's see if the delay is done. We can bring up the chat. And the chat is up. And look at this. Ronbo's here and Kathy's here already. All right. Got in here before I got the chat up. Let's give it a couple minutes to see if Linda comes in. If not, we'll get started. I switched the microphones too. Got my big buck Samson G-Track Pro. Linda's feeding, okay. Broadcasting live from station WDWL TV, Studio 1. Corporate offices located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard, and my two personal studios are located on Grumpy Old Man Road. And this is me. And the show is brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. And let's hear it for the Grumpy Jackalope. Oh, and the Grumpy Vulture. Take your paw. Look at the camera. Oh, your banner's actually straight for a change. So it was very interesting today. I had to go see the El Shrinko. Yeah. He has to do an evaluation to see if I am in the right frame of mind to receive one or the other implants. Needless to say, I gave him a piece of my mind. Zippo. Yeah, I gave him a piece of my mind. I told him, I don't like either choice. I only have two choices. And I don't like either one. I find it hard to believe in this day and age of modern medicine, I only get these two stupid ass goddamn implants. He was like, So when we got done with the session, I said, "Is your evaluation complete?" He said, "Well, I'll write it up, but I'm not going to submit it until no, November 10th or something like that, or 11th. I have to go see him on the 11th of November. And then we'll go through all the stupid questions that we went through today. And then he'll submit the evaluation, which basically will say, yes, I'm in the right frame of mind. I'm all pissed off, but I'm in the right frame of mind. And then I have to make a decision as to which one of these fucking implants. So he told me to call both of the patient ambassador lines, talk to actual patients, call the other line and talk to the nurses. But he also told me I should talk to both of my pain management doctors and see if they have any patients that are willing to talk to me. Because, you know, HIPAA. But there might be some patients that'll say, yeah, I'll talk to, you know, a prospect. So I'll call the stupid frickin' patient ambassadors. Yeah, Ron, I'm leaning towards that because that procedure is different than the electronic stim. You know, they're running something up your spine twice. I don't like that. So what they do with the pump is you get an injection, and they try to get it into the area that is generating the most pain. And then if the injections work, then whatever level in your back, that's as far as the medication tube would go. And then what they do, when they do the pump implant, they fish a hook basically just below your skin, and they grab that medication tube and they pull it down and they hook it to the pump. And then once they have the pump where they want it, they stitch you back up or super glue you, whatever. So I'm going to listen to both ambassadors and both sets of nurses. But you know, nobody is going to say, oh, did I fuck up? I shouldn't have got this. You know, no. Because they're probably all getting paid. Say something nice and we'll pay you $100. Then on the way out, I had to go over to the pharmacy. I had to talk to the pharmacist because something don't make sense. As I told him, I said, I get my medication delivered every month. He says, yeah, I know. I said, I'm I have a card on file that you charge it to. I said, why can I not get over the counter items included in my delivery? He said, like what? I said, well, I have to take vitamin D3 and magnesium, and like today, I have to come in and purchase it. Now, every item on the market is approved by the FDA. Vitamins, so on. Over the counter is unapproved for delivery with prescribed medicine. Talk about asinine. I can get every fucking drug on earth delivered. I can't get over the counter vitamins and shit like that. Makes no sense. Then he told me, he said, well, you don't have to get it here. I said, it's half price. If I go to Walgreens, I said it's 2 times the price that you're selling it for here. I said, why should I spend that kind of money? He said, FDA, yeah, the fucked up drug association. Then on the way home, I got a shock, man. The Walgreens, right at the corner of 130th and Bel Air, gone. Building empty. I don't know when they closed it, although I don't go there. Building empty. All the lights were on and they were disassembling all the shelving and everything. I was like, holy shit. I didn't know Walgreens was closing up places. Somebody told me Rite Aid was closing. I find that hard to believe. But yeah, this Walgreens store, gone. Empty, wall to wall. Oh, the Walgreens is so goddamn expensive on everything. I tend to think part of the reason is that Walgreens is in the heart of the ghetto over there. And there might be theft. Rite Aid is closing? Really? Holy shit, my son's mother will lose her part-time job. Now how's she going to support him? Wow. I guess she better find another part-time job. Because I ain't supporting him. I'm putting a fucking roof over his head. I ain't supporting him, too. I ain't buying him groceries, none of that. I bet you she's really pissed off. That Rite Aid was like just down the street from her apartment. God, she's been working at that Rite Aid for 5, 6 years. Man, that's sad. I didn't see anything on the news. That would have been a big story. I didn't hear any of my neighbors talking about it. My shrink happened to mention it. Or no, the pharmacist. He said to me, he said, well, don't go to Rite Aid, they're closing. I was like, really? Man, that's sad. God damn. More people out of work. I guess Rite Aid should have brought, Mary Lou Retton back to do commercials. And another thing, so much for Make America Great. I'm trying to think. I heard about some more stores closing. I can't remember which ones. Going to be more stores closing. Christ. And then, with them cutting all these goddamn federal programs, it's getting sad. We're not making America great. We're making America bankrupt. I shortly before airtime, I came across this YouTube channel. You guys gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. The name of the YouTube channel is Discovering Amazing Skills. That's the YouTube channel. Go to that YouTube channel and scroll down to the video that says old Toyota Vitz gets luxury car makeover. Now, you talk about a title that is bullshit. Watch this video. There is a little Indian pickup truck that pulls up to this dirt field and unloads this pile of scrap. Now, this pile of scrap is purchased from Japan. After a car gets so old, they don't believe in owning cars like me. after around 10 years, they get cut up for scrap because the Japanese have this mental attitude of owning a vehicle more than 3 or 4 years is wasteful and unfashionable. Got it? So they unload in somewhere in India this Toyota that's cut to pieces. Literal scrap. They reassemble this car. And the scary thing is, they braze it back together. Not welding, brazing. And for the people that don't know, brazing is like super gluing. So they braze this whole car back together, and then they bondo over all the brazing areas and hide them, and repaint the car, and reassemble it. And when they get done, it looks like a normal used car. But you know how they are in India. They take a car for 4 passengers and load 10 people in it. Now, if this car gets in an accident, it's going to self-destruct because it's brazed back together, not welded. This is scary. And they buy hundreds of these cut up vehicles that Japan scrapped. And they ship them to India. And they put them back together. Talk about scary. I would be afraid to drive one of them things into my driveway, let alone load 8, 9, 10 people in it and go across country. You gotta watch this video. Now, I gotta admit, when they braze it all back together and then they paint it, it looks great. But you will also see what I've been talking about of putting cars together with clips. They put parts on, snap, 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 snap. Hardly any bolts. It's scary. Now, it's obvious they don't have any federal safety standards over there, because there would be no way that that car would be allowed on the road. In America, oh. I mean, I remember, God, back in the 70s, the towing company I worked for had a little body shop. And we had gotten in this fairly new Camaro that got ass-ended. And then a couple weeks later, we got the same year Camaro in, and the guy hit a tree. The body guy, back in the body shop, cut them 2 fucking cars in half and welded the 2 good sections together. Because he had a good front from one and a good back from the other, cut it in half, and welded them back together. And the car really looked great when he got done. But you can't get away with that shit now. But he literally pulled out his handy dandy, was it a Ryobi or a Milwaukee? Milwaukee Sawzall, and cut them two Camaros in half. And then welded them together. And when he got done, the car was gorgeous. I wouldn't drive it. But you could get away with that shit back in the 70s and early 80s. Not anymore. I had a friend that used to rebuild minor wrecks. He'd buy them from the salvage pool and rebuild them and sell them. Well, now, since Ohio changed the laws, every part you purchase, you have to keep all the receipts. And if you're missing one receipt, the Highway Patrol will not pass the inspection. Because he was rebuilding a Ford Ranger. And I had a set of parking lamps and headlamps. And when he took that Ranger for inspection, they failed it because he didn't have a receipt for the parking lamps and the headlamp assemblies. So I went with him up to the inspection station. And I told him, I said, I had these off a Ranger I owned. I changed them. I bought fancier headlamps and fancier parking lamps. And I said I had them in a box. The state trooper said, "What's the VIN number off your truck?" I said, "I don't even have it anymore." He said, "Well, you got to find the VIN number, and then you have to write a receipt and have it notarized. Otherwise, this Ranger won't pass inspection." I was like, you got to be kidding me. I give him some free parts, and now I have to have a notarized letter that I gave him to. And oh no, I couldn't give them. I had to sell them to him. I was like, what a crock of bullshit. He finally got it to pass, and then he sold it because that's what he did. But I'll tell you what, any vehicles that he bought from the salvage pool after that, he made sure, first of all, that they were light totals. I think what he was buying was strip outs, because it would be easier to call one wrecking yard and say, I need a front pair of bucket seats, I need this, I need that. And then he gets a detailed receipt with VIN numbers because I have noticed buying, like, I bought the used mirrors for the Passat. I bought one from a wrecking yard out in Ontario, California, and then I bought another mirror, a wrecking yard outside of Pittsburgh. And when I got the receipts with the mirrors, they had the VIN numbers of the vehicle that them mirrors came off of. Now, I don't have to keep the VIN numbers, but it's really strict now. As a matter of fact, I got the left door mirror today, and it's like a medium metallic blue, like a metallic sky blue. I was gonna rattle can spray it green. That mirror looks so nice. I don't care. I'm gonna put it on. Who cares if I have a blue mirror on one side and a green one on the other? I just need rear view mirrors that work. Not to mention, I looked at the homeless depot, and I couldn't come up with a rattle can close to the metallic green that the Passat is. So screw it, I don't care. God, it's only a little plastic section about that big. It rained today, so hopefully it's going to be better weather tomorrow. Although, I think before I tear that door apart, I'll wait until I get that whole door panel with the window regulator. That way I only have to take the door apart once. And boy, am I sweating that window regulator. One false move and I'll be breaking plastic. I'm half tempted to call Safelight and see if they'll install it. That way, if they break it, they pay for it. Oh. Yeah, well, either way, Kathy, either it's going to stick out like a sore thumb with the wrong color green or with sky blue metallic. But you know, the mirror looks like brand new. The paint doesn't have a scratch in it. I don't care. You know, it's not a 2025 Rolls Royce. It's a 25-year-old Volkswagen. So people will know I replaced the mirror. Big deal. I just need an electric mirror with heat that works. Because I'll tell you what, with both side view mirrors broken, I had not realized how much I depend on three mirrors when I am driving. It was nerve-wracking backing in the driveway, and I put a backup camera, and it's a mirror unit that clips over. So when you put it in reverse, the camera turns on and you can see the back of the vehicle as you're backing up. You can't see from the side. Oh, the spelling's perfect. How's the eye? How'd it go today? Actually, probably really, really great. Wait until it heals up. Oh boy, will you be able to see again? It is going to be so nice when that eye heals and you're like, wow, I can see. As a matter of fact, as I was coming into the hospital, there was somebody leaving that obviously had cataract surgery because I recognized the bandage on their eye. I felt like saying, oh boy, you're going to see wonderful when you get that healed up. Yeah, this woman looked like she might have been in her late 50s, early 60s. Bandage on the eye, and I recognize that kind of bandage. And her husband was leading her out. I wanted to ask her, first eye or second eye? But her husband looked like the type that would smack the shit out of me, so I didn't say anything. But you get to recognize those bandages. Well, cool. It'll be so nice to have perfect vision now. Oh, you didn't have a cheater. Nobody knew, huh? Well, yeah, this woman, I recognized the bandage. So next week, I think Monday. Is the 13th Monday? Whatever. I have to go see the podiatrist. I'm really considering seriously getting that toe fixed. Because it's starting to bother me. It's starting to affect the way I walk. And as much as I don't want to do it because I hear toe surgery is painful, I need that toe straightened. Yeah, it's the 13th. 2 o'clock. I already know the drill. Take off your shoes and socks. Put them in the foot bath. The water is already warm. You put your feet in, and they put some chemical in, and they turn it on. Brrr. It's a little whirlpool for your feet. Then the nurse towel dries and then blow dries, spreading each toe. Then the doctor comes out with his Dremel. because I've got nasty thick nails. He has to. It looks like a set of wire cutters when he comes to do my feet. Then he takes a Dremel with a little sanding disc. So after he gets done doing my pedicure, I'm going to ask him about surgery, which I know he's going to have to do x-rays. I really didn't want to get it done because I've heard it's really painful surgery, but I can't straighten it. It's like that. When I walk, I'm walking on the tip of the toe. I'm starting to get a callus. So before I get the implant, I'll have to get my tootsies taken care of. Sucks to get fucking old. Be like the Bionic Man. I'll have every limb worked on. I've already had carpal, both hands, 2 hernias, neck fused, eyes fixed, throat surgery twice. Yet without doing x-rays, he said it's like a calcium formation inside the socket. And because over the years, it just... So now it's starting to really irritate me. He mentioned once before, oh, you should get that fixed. I said, oh, don't bother me. Next Monday, he'll be, ha ha, I told ya. Yeah, I know, Doc. Yeah, I know. Actually, both of them are like that, but the left toe doesn't really bother me. The right one, ugh. So he'll probably say, well, we'll fix one, and as soon as that one heals, we'll fix the other. I'll be like, okay, do it. Because they probably do that outpatient. I'll just have to get somebody to babysit me and drive me home. I'll probably come home in one of them big, ugly fucking boots. Gotta keep that toe straight. Okay. No driving. Although it'd be tough to drive in that fucking boot. You could do it in an automatic. Can't do it in a manual. Fucking pedals are too close together. Although I did notice on the Passat, Volkswagen actually spaced the pedals out with a little more room. Because when you're wearing a size 14 shoe, them close pedals, but the Passat, they're actually spaced apart pretty good. So tomorrow, what have I got to do on it tomorrow? Oh, I got to put my fog lights on. And I got to put the siren speaker on. I wanted to try to hide it under the hood, but there ain't no goddamn room. So I guess I'll just mount it out on the front bumper. I actually have a it's for off-road vehicles, and it's made for fog lamps. So I can mount this to the bumper, put the fog lamps on, mount the speaker on that. I got some neat fog lamps. They're green. I never saw a green fog lamp. I was like, oh boy, I'm buying them. Because I did a neat trick, and it worked. You know, I told you I bought that switch assembly that's supposed to mount on the A pillar. Well, the A pillar in the Passat has got an airbag in it. I can't mount it on the A pillar, which would have been nice just to reach up and click the switches. I took my Dremel and I customized the assembly, and I was able to mount it on the console right below the shifter. It almost looks factory. I had to cut out to go around the edge of the shifter, and then I had to cut out to mount the back of it to the console. And I got it mounted in just to see what it looked like. And when you stand back, it looks factory. Neatest job I've ever done. So tomorrow I have to run wires and wire everything up. So it'll be neat. I will literally have the switches right below the shifter. So I'll have one for the pair of fog lamps on the top, and then I will have another for the big, I think it's 10 inches. I think it's a 10-inch big fog lamp, green fog lamp underneath. And then my fog lamps that mount back at the edge of the hood like they do on a Jeep. And I can't remember what the fourth switch is for. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I have they're 3-inch green fog lamps that are going to mount on the top. And then I think it's a 10-incher. That'll mount on the bottom. And then in between those two 3-inchers on top, the siren, because it's a rectangular speaker, that'll mount there. And then at the back corner of the hood by the windshield are the white fog lamps. I couldn't get those in green because they they have what they call side shooters. In the corners of the fog lamp are blinking yellow like warning lights. It's going to look cool. When I get everything all wired up, I will do a video, a walk around video of the car with all the lights. Because wait until you see all the flashing strobe lights. Oh! This car is going to look cool at night. Better than a fucking undercover police car. Because mine will have more lights. And I have to find I know where one is. You know those auxiliary their stop turn tail lamp? It's a long strip, Kathy, that mounts under the tailgate. A lot of pickup trucks have that. The light that goes all the way across under the tailgate, and it's a turn signal and a stop light and a backup light. Dale got me two, and I'm going to put them along the rocker panels, and I'll have them flashing. So this thing's going to be laid out. Because originally when he got them, I said, they're too long for the shit box. Because I was going to put it on the tailgate. They're for they're for an F-150, or a Silverado. So I decided I'm going to put them on the rocker panels. Now I can't use the red. So I'm going to try to hook them to an alternating flasher, because they have amber turn signal, and then they also have a white backup light. I'm going to try to see if I can get them to work with an alternating flasher, so that on the rocker panel it flashes yellow and white back and forth. Problem with LEDs is a lot of LEDs won't work with a standard automotive flasher, because LEDs don't have the voltage to trip the flasher. So I'm going to see if I can find a flasher for LEDs and then get it to alternate back and forth. If I can't, I'll just have it flashing white. I'm not a big one for yellow. Either way, it's going to look cool. Either that, or I'll bring one in. I have one all wired. I won't turn it on. I have a full, it's like 4 foot long. And off of Temu, I got, they're white, and they have multi-flash patterns. So I wired like 10 of them together along this. It's a plastic like angle iron. And I can mount those to the rocker panel, and they'd be doing like a zigzag flash. I'll figure one or the other out. I kind of like, like the police cars. They'll have the red and blue along the rocker panels, and they chase back and forth. I want to try to figure out if I can come up with that, because I think those cars are so cool. Especially, like the undercover, unmarked car. They flick them lights on, and they got the red and blue in the windows, and then on the rocker panel, red and blue chasing back and forth. There was a video the other night. I was watching one of the interrogation videos, and it started with the homicide at the house, and there were like 6 or 7 police cars, and 4 of them were unmarked, and they were all chasing. I was like, "Whoa, is that cool?" So I'm gonna try to duplicate it. I'm hoping that that strip light is just the right length. Because if it is, all I got to do is, it mounts with double stick tape. I won't have to drill any. I'm not big on drilling holes in this car. So if that taillight strip fits, I could just stick it on and then wire it to a flasher. I'll figure something out. But once the car is all done, I'll take a video. You'll see how crazy I am with lights. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine gave me their it's magnetic strip, and they say police interceptor. So I stuck them on the front fender of the Passat. And Marianne looked and she went, "I never knew Volkswagen made a police car." I didn't say anything. Let her sit and wonder. Although, like in England and I suppose Germany, and they don't, there's no such thing as a police package. They just get cars from dealerships and put the police lights on them. There's no special produced vehicle over in England. That's why you see BMWs and Subarus and Hyundais and Toyotas. They just go order them from a manufacturer, and when they get delivered, they put all them goofy yellow and blue reflective stickers all over them. Goddamn police cars look like taxi cabs. Yeah, they're all right from the factory. They don't change anything. If the cops want to drive along and listen to the radio, okay. Not like in America where, they build a specific vehicle for law enforcement. Over in England, they just, hello, BMW, yeah, we need like 100 SUVs. Thank you. All in white, please. Except for their unmarked cars. Their unmarked cars are sneaky. But they're regular cars. That's what's amazing. Every day, right off the lot. That's like, another amazing thing I found out in Japan. You can actually bypass a dealer. Like Toyota, you can call the factory and buy a car, eliminating the dealer. Cut the middleman right out. I thought that was interesting. You can buy it right from the factory. And most Japanese vehicle owners replace their cars every 4 years. Because the government gives you a subsidy to keep buying new. Because they say older cars cause accidents. So every 3 to 5 years, everybody buys a new car. Crazy system. Because they basically say, well, if we have an old car, it's wasteful and unfashionable. Not to mention, you can play keep up with the Joneses over there. Oh, look, Hopsing got a new Subaru. Tomorrow we'll go get a new Toyota. And the government gives you a subsidy. Oh, you want to buy a new car? Fine, here's some money. Yeah, the average owner, 4 years. They just keep. Now you can either sell it to a dealer, like a used car lot, or you can sell it to a private owner. But that private owner only keeps it 3 or 4 years. Because the older a vehicle is in Japan, the higher the taxes are. The road use tax. So if you have a vehicle that's like 6 years old, you're paying like 3 times the road use tax as somebody with a new car. Very interesting system. Very few cars make it to 10 years old. Now, another interesting thing is like all these Japanese mini trucks that are being imported to the United States, they're 25 years old. Mini trucks are fleet maintained. So they're not hazardous. They're all in excellent condition because if a rust spot appears, it has to be fixed. But cars, you buy a car, 4 years later, buy another car, 4 years later, buy another car. Because an old car is unfashionable. I like that statement. It's wasteful and unfashionable. I wish I could get a new car every 3 years. Although I wouldn't want new cars. No. I'm still looking for 25-year-old manual transmission cars. I lucked out with the Passat because I didn't even know it was a manual when I first started talking about it. I'm thinking, oh shit, I have to settle for an automatic. Then I went back and looked at it and went, oh boy, a 5-speed. And boy, is that clutch in that car touchy. Holy shit. I've stalled it 3 times. It is really touchy. Of course, by the time I'm able to put license plates on it, I'll have everything. I'll be used to the turbo lag. I'll be used to the clutch. And shifting that thing, God, I could shift it with 2 fingers. Like butter. It's hard to believe that that thing's got 154,000 miles on it. First of all, it don't look it, and second of all, it don't feel like it when you're driving it. Of course, 25-year-old car with 150,000 miles, that's nothing. I did find out, doing a little research, that a woman owned it before Jim bought it. Now, I don't know how many miles she put on it, and I don't know yet how many owners have had this car. I want to research that next to see how many people have owned it before me. So far, I know of 2. Not that it makes any difference. I just would like to know how many times it changed hands. I would like to find out who the first owner was. And if they're still alive, and do they live anywhere near? I'd pull up at the house and go, recognize that? The original owner probably say, gee, I thought that thing would be junked by now. The sad thing is, knowing that on the shitbox, I'm the 3rd owner. That thing looks like it went through a war. It's falling apart. And it's only got 149,000 miles on it. It is sad. Although it's a typical northeastern Ohio vehicle. And in northeast Ohio, we get 1 inch of snow and they put down 7 inches of salt. Go to the title bureau. I can go to the title bureau and they will research for free and tell me how many owners it had. Now, I don't know if they would tell me, names and addresses, but I can just go right to the title bureau on Chevy Boulevard. And take I would need a title. Soon as Bill gives me the title, then basically they can research because the previous title numbers are always up in the corner, the top corner of the title. And then they can go backwards. I would like a printout. I'd even be willing to pay for one. It would just be nice to know. Where it was purchased, brand new, how many miles it had between owners. Now, see, with the shitbox, I bought it from the second owner. The girl I bought it from, her mother bought it brand new, so that was easy. I'm OCD like that. I would just now with the RAV4, Marianne had all the information. She did it. She found out how many owners it had before she bought it. She actually called the owner that had it before her. And the guy told her all the maintenance he did to it. And so once Bill brings the title over, then I'll run up to Chevy Boulevard and get a back search done. I tend to think it's been an Ohio car all its life because other states like Pennsylvania, they have window stickers for the inspections. And I think Indiana and Illinois do the same thing. And there's no stickers anywhere. I happened to find an old registration under the seat. So I know a woman owned it before me. Or before Jim. I just like to know how many miles Jim put on it before he parked it. And the next time Bill is here, we're going over to look at the Corvette. I think I've got him convinced to take my offer. mainly because his buddy who wanted it offered less. I wish I'd have known that, but I really want that car. If it's a manual, that's going to be the big hinging point. Because Corvettes have 6 speeds, an extra gear. My son would shit if he saw a goddamn Corvette in the driveway. Even if it is a 90s, you know. He'd be like, what the fuck is Dad got now? Holy shit! His mother would shit too. Oh, look, your father bought a Corvette. What's he, reliving his childhood? Yes. Anything to piss her off makes me happy. Oh, she would shit. Even, like I say, even if it is a 90s, I think it's a 93. She'd be like, what's with your father in a Corvette now? Was he going backwards in age? Yes. Oh, I already know she'd shit. Oh, God. She'd see that sitting in the driveway. Oh, man. I could hear it now. Although, I could hear my kid. Mom, you'll never guess what Dad has. A Corvette. What? Yeah, a red Corvette sitting in the driveway. Well, I need 2 vehicles. I have to have a backup. So what if it's a Corvette? Be my standby vehicle. Because the shit box is, it ain't gonna last another year. Unfortunately, it's not. It's sad because that thing just runs so nice. But it ain't gonna last. The rocker panels are starting to rot. One of these days I'll go to step in it and the floor will go through and whoops. Although that's what they make no parking signs for. Back in the day, when I was a teenager, if a car had a hole in the floor, you stole a no parking sign. They made good covers because they were sturdy. And believe me, back in the day, a lot of cars had holes in the floor. Oh, I'll tell you what. The next time Bill comes over, I am going to be up his ass on that car. I'm going to beg, please sell me that car, please. I need a backup vehicle, please. But I am going to do one thing. I'm going to take a battery with me. Because if it don't start, I've already been that route. I couldn't get that lucky. Put a battery in it and the son of a bitch start right up. There's another YouTuber. His YouTube is Vice Grip Garage. This guy, I don't know how he finds all these cars. Matter of fact, I was watching a video. There was like a 1980 something Fox Body Mustang sitting out in a pasture. He buys it. He puts a battery in it. Now, the farmer told him that Mustang had been sitting there like since the mid-90s. He puts a battery in it, pours a little gas in the carburetor or in the intake, and the goddamn thing fired right up. And he drove it out of the pasture. It's amazing the cars this guy finds. He actually found a DeLorean in a field and got it running and drove it like 1,000 miles home. You talk about somebody that takes chances. His attitude is basically, if it starts and has brakes, I'm driving it. Sometime you're on YouTube, look up Vice Grip Garage and look at some of the cars he finds. I watched a video. He found like a 1953 Buick and got it running. He had to put a set of tires on it and drove it like 700 miles home. I wouldn't trust the Passat going across the street. Although I lucked out. It does need front brake pads, which I ordered. But this guy is amazing. Yeah, Vice Grip Garage. Check him out sometime. He ain't paying me. But some of the cars he finds out in fields, pastures, barn finds, and he has somebody drop him off, not knowing if the car's going to drive or not. As a matter of fact, I think it was that old Buick. He flew out to wherever it was. I don't know how he will not divulge how he finds these cars. It was like one state over. He flew out. He rented a car. He went to O'Reilly's and bought a battery and a couple other things. He gets the goddamn car running and he drives it home. Now, this guy's got balls like this. But it is neat to see some of the stuff he finds and just jumps in and drives them. There's only been a couple of times vehicles have broken down, but he will, like the one that broke down, I can't remember, I think it was the DeLorean. He asked the motel if he could leave it there for a couple of days. He flew home. gathered up the parts that he needed. He had a friend drive him back. He got the DeLorean running again and drove it home. He refuses to have stuff towed. He's like, I'll drive this one way or another. I'm driving it. And he's probably late 30s, early 40s. But he will not divulge how he finds these cars. I'm sure he's probably got people looking. But like the Mustang, the Mustang was in a barn. And it was covered with dust and dirt and hay and all kinds of shit. And he took a broom and cleaned it off and got the goddamn thing running and drove it like 700 miles home. You know, the Corvette is only 4 blocks away. If I can get it to start, I'm not driving it home. Hey, Carlos, get your flatbed up there and bring it home for me. Because until I know for sure, I ain't taking no chances. Now see, after the garage got the Passat running, they pulled it outside and they let it run in the parking lot for like 45 minutes. Then they took it around the block a couple of times. So when they called me, they already knew it was roadworthy and it would make it home. I'm not that trusting. Matter of fact, the first couple of times I drove it, I was like, oh, it better not break down. But the more I drive it, the peppier it's getting, because that octane booster has been sloshing around in the tank. Next thing, I'm going to get some injector cleaner. Actually, fuel system cleaner. And then I'll put about 6-7 gallons of 93 octane, because I found out BP does carry 93 octane. And there's a BP 5 blocks from me. Not that I like BP gas, but it's too far to drive to Sunoco. Because there's a Sunoco that's like 7 blocks from me. And there's a Shell too. Shell and Sunoco, I've always had good mileage. BP, not so much. I put BP in the shit box a couple of times, and boy, did I get shitty mileage off of it. Matter of fact, the last time I filled it up at Marathon. So far it seems like it's getting pretty decent mileage. Although today, on the way back from the hospital, I drove past the Marathon. It's no longer a Marathon. It's a Sunoco. A month ago it was Marathon. Now it's Sunoco. Evidently Marathon wasn't Probably not giving him a good enough rate on fuel. Although, there's only a couple of refineries. So, the basic gas is gas. Because I had talked to one of the drivers, and he told me the only difference is like when he fills up at the transfer station, Sunoco and Marathon and Shell, they all have different additives. So he'll look at his paperwork and he'll say, okay, I need to add this and this and this. And now I have Sunoco. The next time, okay, I need to add this and this, and now I have Shell. Oh yeah, 93 octane is about a dime more a gallon. Matter of fact, at Shell, it's 12 cents more per gallon. I've been researching. But basically, like, the average person isn't buying high octane gas. They're like me. They look, okay, this one's cheaper. I'm going to go there. Unless the car states you must use 93 octane. Otherwise, I'm sure everyone's like me. They price shop for the cheapest gas. I have an app on my phone, Gas Buddy. I pull up the app and I spin through to see who's the cheapest, and then that's where I buy my gas. And then you have to pay cash. Because if you use a credit card, you pay a penalty. Like the Pioneer station, if I use a card, gas is 9 cents more a gallon than cash price. So I always got to have cash to get the cheapest price. And then when I need gas, I go Gas Buddy. Okay, BP is cheaper this week. I'll go to BP. But now I need to go get me some 93 octane. And what I will probably do is at least one more fill up will be 93 octane. By then, I should have all that old varnishy gas out of the tank. And then we'll see how it runs. I would tend to think part of the turbo lag is due to that shitty ass varnishy gas that's in there. Christ, that gasoline's 4 years old. I'm surprised the car even runs. Oh, same here, Ron. It's not like if I go to Valero and buy gas on Monday, Friday the price will be the same. No. Matter of fact, the one day I was at Valero getting gas, and the price changed while I was getting gas. Now, I got gas for the lower price, but when I looked at the sign, it was like 8 cents a gallon more. It's like, when did that happen? And I go in the station, the guy said, oh, I just changed it. I checked with the refinery, and price changed. So that's why when I need gas, I check on the day I'm going to buy gas and hope by the time I get to the station the price is the same. Let me grab my cell phone. Let me pull up Gas Buddy and see what prices are. Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy. Find gas. Okay. Pioneer is $2.76. Gas USA, which is an independent, $2.59. BP $2.79. Marathon $2.81. BP up the other end is $2.89. Valero $3.19. Although he's always expensive. So we're averaging about $2.70 a gallon. Yeah, about $2.70 a gallon. I can live with that. Man, $4 a gallon. Man, that's, you got expensive gas out there. Although California's even worse. God, I've seen prices for gas in California almost $6 a gallon. Holy shit. That's why I check, because I'm cheap. Jesus Christ, you got refineries near you and gas is that expensive? Holy shit. I would definitely be driving a car that gets good mileage at that price. You wouldn't find me driving no Rolls Royce, I'll tell you that. Yeah, no Ferrari or Lamborghini for me, thank you. That's why it really surprised me because usually turbocharged vehicles they want you to run a higher octane. When I looked in the manual, it said 87 or above. Because I know my buddy's son has a Beamer and he's got to put 93 in it. He tried putting cheaper gas in it, and oh my God, that thing ran like shit. He was getting goddamn knocking. So he ended up putting octane booster in it and filling the tank with 93, and he hasn't tried to get cheap since. But it said, when you open the gas store, it says 93 octane only. Matter of fact, he was thinking of putting ethanol in it. I told him, I said, you'd have blown that motor up with ethanol. Yeah, he's got like a 7 Series Beamer. He's got a big one. Oh, yeah, we had that happen earlier in the summer, Kathy. There was a gas war, and the city came out and shut both stations down. They were shut down for a whole day. And then they had to raise the price. Oh, you talk about a traffic jam. Holy shit. There were cars around the block and down. Yeah, one was like a $2, and the one across the street was $1.99, and then went $1.98 and $1.97. People were, oh, which one do I go to? And then next thing you know, the police shut them down by orders of the city. Yeah, it's a Zippo. A personally engraved Zippo that lights every time and is windproof because I have the ceiling fan going and it didn't blow out like that cheap ass Ronson. Matter of fact, I had it with me today. I showed it to my shrink. He looked at it and goes, "Who's grumpy?" I said, "Me." "What's this WDWL TV? What station is that? Is that cable?" I said, "Well, could be. If you have a cable hooked to your computer." He just looked at me like, "What?" I said it's my YouTube channel. If you want, WDWL space TV on YouTube. He said, I'll pass. I have to look at you for an hour. No, I'm not looking at, no. I says, okay. Oh, do I need to answer that question, Ron? I'm a freak for Zippo lighters. Matter of fact, I was on the website this morning looking at some of the new colors and all the different styles, and I kind of like those matte colors. Like well, they got the matte blue and the matte green and the matte red, and those matte colors are kind of neat. Although there must be 400 lighters on that website. Jesus Christ. I didn't know Zippo made so many lighters. God, there was one lighter in there that was how much? $175? Was a limited edition something or another. I was like, you gotta be kidding. Yeah, that and the red. The green was kind of crappy, but the blue and the red really stood out. I was looking at them going, boy, that would look impressive with engraving in it. Ron, I didn't know you could order them like that. I've never seen anything on the website. I did not know you could special order like that. I think it's really cool. Man, I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, wow. And they did a beautiful job. You chose a nice font. It's really a nice font. I like the brushed finish. It's a beautiful lighter. It really is. I'm impressed. You did good, Ron. You made me really happy. I've never had a personally engraved lighter before. I'm really proud of it. My shrink didn't think much of it, but really? Well, I'm sure people, engrave them with swear words and shit. Oh, yeah, when I opened that box, I was like a little kid. Because I've had people buy me Zippos for gifts. Most of them are Harley Davidson because, I had, I missed that bike, but, I had my 100th anniversary Road King Screaming Eagle. And they would buy me Harley Davidson lighters, but nobody ever had them engraved. I thought it would have been nice, but I didn't know you could do that. I must have missed it on the website because I don't remember seeing personal engraving, but I'm glad to know they do it. I'm going to have to look, and I know they have Ford and Chevy. I'm going to have to look and see if they have a VW lighter. If they did, I would get it engraved. 2001 VW Passat GLS. I got the high end one. The GLX is the high end. I got the next one down, the GLS. Because the GLX has the 2.0 V6. The GLS has the 1.8 turbo. I'm learning more about my Volkswagen by reading. Yeah, if they have Ford and Chevy and Chrysler and Dodge, I'm sure they got a VW. I'll have to look through the site. I was just scanning real quick. I couldn't believe how many goddamn lighters they have. God, they got musical groups and spooky lighters and although they're not cheap. There's no such thing as a cheap Zippo. But you're getting quality. Made in America. That's what I like. A company that still makes their lighters in America. Made by Americans. Well, they may have some aliens, but they refuse to offshore their lighters. They take pride in knowing that they're made in America by Americans with all American material. They don't cut corners. And I'm happy to say that this lighter has the same quality as my 50-year-old lighters. They have not cheapened them one bit. Of course, you pay for quality. As much as I think they're expensive, you pay for quality. Oh, they have several types. Oh boy. After I read my email in the morning, I'll be going to the Zippo website. Cool. I'm going to get me a Volkswagen lighter and keep it in the Passat. Although I did buy a new cigarette lighter. The old lighter wasn't working. So I bought a complete new assembly, all brand new. Popped it out, plugged it in. Because it's odd having a vehicle with a lighter. Although I have to get an ashtray. I noticed today when I was looking at it, the insert is gone. The ashtray insert. It's nowhere. I looked under the seats. He must have thrown it away. So hopefully on eBay I can find an insert so I have an ashtray. Because I have a brand new lighter. It's one of the few vehicles that has a lighter and an ashtray. No power port. Hey, look who's here. Is everybody fed now? They all fat and sassy? I had to get Fatso some more dry food today. I got tender centers. So hopefully he likes them. Yeah. The food that he has now is Vitality Bursts. It hasn't done much for his vitality, big fatso. So as soon as that is gone, he has tender centers. Well, good. Everybody's all fat and sassy and ready to go night-night. Yeah, he'll get fed when I go out to make dinner. He'll get his stew delectables. We're on stew now. He got tired of the broth. So now we have stew. Picky ass. He pisses me off because he licks all the gravy. Like last night, I gave him chicken and gravy. I looked in the dish this morning, and the chicken is perfectly clean. Not one spot of gravy. How he could lick all that chicken clean and leave it in the bowl. That's like Marianne was telling me. She had some leftover vegetarian stew. And she gave it to her two dogs. And she said the one dog licked every vegetable clean and left them in the bowl. Wouldn't eat the vegetables, but licked them clean. She said, I picked up the bowl and it was like I just took them out of the can. Yeah, Ron, he licked every piece of that chicken completely gravy-free. I should have remembered he don't care for chicken. But I looked in that bowl and every piece of the chicken was like he washed it. I looked at that bowl and I said, you bastard, leave all that chicken in there. But there wasn't a drop of gravy. I don't know how an animal does that. How can they lick something completely clean and spit it back in the bowl? Although I'll tell you, he loves that water fountain. Oh my God. He drinks a lot of water. But he loves that fountain. Best investment I ever made. A whole $6 on Temu. And if you go to the pet store, it's $25 for the same unit. Because I looked. I was like, I got this. I told the clerk, I said, I got this off of Temu for $6. He said, really? I said, yeah, it's the same identical thing. Oh, he only eats once a day. He's on a diet, and he ain't liking it. No more, no. I come out in the morning, and he's like, food? No. You're getting too fat. Oh, for the water fountain? Yeah. They have. There's a filter on the pump, and then there's a filter on the return. But they're washable. But you can order more. Because what I do is I take it all apart and I give it a good scrubbing, and then I wash the shit out of the filters, and then I put them back in. Really? Well, that's, yeah, you're out in God's country. Shine a light out there. See if you can find him. You'll see two eyes glowing. That's kind of cool. Not to mention they hoot. That means you won't have any mice. If you've got an owl hanging around, you don't have to worry about mice. You know, Ron, I don't know if you have a Michael's or like a hobby store or a craft store. You can buy and cut your own. Because Marianne told me she found the same material at Michael's for hers, and she bought it in a block, and she just cut it the size to fit. So if you've got a hobby store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something like that, you can buy the material and just cut it. Because she took the filter in, and the guy at Michael's said, "Oh, here it comes in a block like 6 by 6." She just cut it the size, and that way she has several. So as much as I hate Michael's, I'm going to have to take a ride over there and buy a block so that I can swap out and wash them, and they'll be nice and dry. And but he loves that water fountain. It's because it's got a spigot. He just gets his tongue under there and blah 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 blah. Although I knew he would like it because he would jump up on the counter if I ran water in the sink. He'd stick his nose underneath there and drink. And when I saw him for $6 on Temu, I was like, Christ, even if the thing only lasted a year, and I had to throw it away. Matter of fact, I haven't been on Temu lately. They probably think I'm pissed off at them. Although I did buy the seat covers for the Passat. What else did I get off of Temu? Oh, the seat covers fit perfect. Oh, am I happy. Because usually Universal, they're crappy. Fit perfect. Matter of fact, I'm getting comments on them from the neighbors. They're like, wow. I wish I could get one for the back seat. But the two front seats, oh, they're perfect. Perfect fit. They look really great. Got to get that car ready for January. Well, speaking of feeding fatso, I think it's that time. If I can find my exit music here. It's usually alphabetical. Now all of a sudden it's all mixed up. Come on. Well, I can't find the old version. We'll have to do the remastered version. We know where, right here. WDWL TV. And with that, everybody, thanks for being here. It's been another fun night. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again tomorrow night. Take care, everybody. See ya.